In 1756, a small kingdom, barely the size of today's Belgium, woke up to a nightmare. Russia, Austria, France, Sweden, and Saxony, all gunning for it. Imagine the odds: one man, Frederick the Great, leading a force of just 24,000 soldiers, up against 500,000. The map makers, I tell you, they were already erasing Prussia from existence. Yet, in less than 12 months, Frederick turned the pencil right back on them, carving victory after victory into European memory. How did the smallest kid in the schoolyard learn to beat up the entire class? That's what we're here to find out. Let's march. Subscribe and share Section 1. The problem: on paper, Prussia looked like a player, a budding power. But in reality? It was mostly sand, endless pine trees, and a treasury so threadbare it practically flapped in the wind. Strategically, it was surrounded, outpopulated 5-1 by its belligerent neighbors. Frederick's only real buffer, his true defensive line, was the sheer speed of his thought. While the grand courts of Vienna and Paris still clung to rigid, parade ground lines of battle, Frederick was writing to his generals with a revolutionary idea: he who defends everything defends nothing. Translation? Don't spread yourself thin. Pick the decisive point, hit it with everything you've got, and pray the rest holds. That audacious philosophy birthed the tactic Europe would soon come to dread: the oblique order. Section 2, Solution 1. The oblique order: picture a door slamming shut, not straight on, but with immense force concentrated on just one hinge. That hinge, my friends, is Frederick's reinforced wing. This wasn't about a gentle push, it was a hammer blow. At Leuthen, in December 1757, he masterfully marched 33,000 men through snow-covered hills, completely concealing their approach. Then, like a sudden storm, they burst onto the Austrian right flank, crushing it before the enemy's left wing even knew the fight had started. In a mere 90 minutes, the Habsburgs lost a staggering 22,000 men. Prussia, by comparison, lost a mere 1,100. Same guns, same muskets, just faster feet, iron discipline, and colder nerves. The oblique order, in 3 simple steps, was revolutionary: conceal your approach, overload a single flank, then roll the enemy's line up like a rug. Simple to sketch, absolutely murderous to face. It was a tactical masterpiece that shattered conventional warfare. Section 3, Solution 2, Speed and Fire. Frederick's army wasn't just innovative, it was efficient. Prussian foot soldiers could fire an astounding 5 rounds a minute, while the European average limped along at 3. And their march discipline? So tight, so relentless, that regiments could cover 14 miles a day to an enemy's sluggish 10. At Rossbach, just 5 months before Leuthen, Frederick leveraged this very edge. He rapidly redeployed his 21,000 troops onto a low ridge before the massive Franco-Austrian host even finished their lunch. When the Allied cavalry, finally organized, charged, his artillery galloped forwards, unlimbered with breathtaking speed, and blasted canister shot at 200 meters. Then, his own cavalry swooped in to finish the job. Battle time? 90 minutes again. Enemy casualties, 10,000. Prussian, a mere 550. Fast, fierce, finished, then off to the next crisis before anyone could catch their breath. This wasn't just fighting, it was a clinic in military efficiency. Section 4, Solution 3, the diplomatic knife fight. Arms might win battles, but diplomacy, Frederick knew, won breathing space. He wasn't above playing the long game, or the dirty game. He bribed British subsidies, encouraged Ottoman raids on vulnerable Hungary, and then, when the formidable Empress Elizabeth of Russia died, he flattered the new Tsar Peter III so shamelessly that Russian troops swapped sides overnight. Talk about a diplomatic coup. One letter reportedly closed with "Your servant, Fritz." Cringe-worthy? Perhaps a little. Effective? Absolutely. Prussia survived 1759, a year when every map still said it should have died 100 times over. His shrewd diplomatic maneuvering kept his enemies divided and bought him precious time. If you're enjoying this whirlwind of marching boots and diplomatic tightrope walking, do yourself a favor, tap subscribe and stick around. Next week, we're covering how Napoleon practically stole Frederick's playbook and almost broke Europe with it. You won't want to miss it. Section 5, Climax. The long holdout. By 1761, Prussia was bleeding out. Berlin itself had been occupied, grain fields torched, the treasury empty. It was utter devastation. Frederick, ever the philosopher king, rode among his surviving troops, quoting Lucretius, "Death therefore is nothing to us." And somehow, morale held, armies, against all odds, did not dissolve. Then came the miracle of the House of Brandenburg, Peter III's unexpected coup in Russia, Sweden quitting the war, French coffers utterly empty. The tide turned, not by another battle, but by sheer, dumb luck and diplomatic pressure. In 1763, the Treaty of Hubertusburg confirmed what the battles had screamed for years: Prussia keeps Silesia, Prussia keeps its throne, and Prussia keeps its new, hard-won great power seat. That sandy, struggling kingdom had become the continent's drillmaster. Legacy Frederick's real victory wasn't just about gaining acreage or holding onto a throne, it was a triumph of mindset. His oblique attacks taught armies to seek the decisive point, not just bash head-on in wide, linear formations. Rapid marching became standard staff doctrine from the battlefields of Leipzig to the mud of Waterloo. Napoleon himself walked the Leuthen fields in 1806, studying Frederick's movements, and famously called the dead king the tactical genius of our century. When you watch modern blitzkrieg or thunder run tactics today, you're seeing Frederick's DNA: speed, focus, shock, and the relentless pursuit of an enemy's weakness. So, the next time someone claims size guarantees success, remember the little realm that punched far above its weight, rewrote the rules of warfare, and earned the undisputed right to call its king the Great.